Appreciate you guys joining. If you're on TikTok, I'm not watching comments, so please be patient. I will look at them afterwards, or you can hold your comments. I'm gonna do this until about 9. I may cut it a little short today, Friday. For all those who don't know, I apologize. I'm kind of under the weather a little bit with just a nasty cold. So, but it's important to be here and kind of give you guys my 2 cents. As well as talk about the ATAs. So we've been working hard on those. We expected to launch the copy trade yesterday. We had a couple things we had to true up, which seemed to be resolved. So we're going to launch that today. Today we're just going to try to do a small trading session with the ATAs. Because it is Friday, we don't really want to get stuck in anything for the weekend. So. But yeah, we're gonna get rolling on that now. Let's talk about the trades yesterday. Look at this push north. So let's talk about yesterday's trades. So if y'all remember yesterday when we were doing the huddle was somewhere around here, right? And it was just crashing. My call the day before on Wednesday was that we were going to reject off this trend line. The trend line was from up here. And that it was going to come down. It came down a little farther than I thought, but not really, because if you remember on the SPY, I had said that if you take, let me go to like a higher time frame, and I'm going to mute the harmonic one. Okay. So what we had talked about is that you have this one to this one as a lower, and then you had this longer one, right, which is this one and this one, to come up as your upper. And so if you come down like this and you look and see where that actually played out, right, you can see this one that acted as our upper here literally hit exactly where we had called. And so we had taken the puts kind of early on this one, just kind of riding that down. I did take one other trade on a call off of this bounce. It bounced almost perfectly. If y'all watched the recording from yesterday, we said around 437 or so, it's going to get a pretty nice bounce. And it did, right? So we pumped all the way back up. We got all the way back up to about 440. Right around here is about 3 o'clock. I wasn't trading this, so I didn't do anything, and it wasn't a bad call because it didn't really do much. If you look at the after hours, we did have a little bit of a drop, and then we kind of went sideways, and now we're having a nice little push north, right? Which doesn't surprise me. As far as where we go from here, I don't know that this push north will hold, but you also have to remember we did get a bounce off a trend line. We did get a pullback, and we held a higher low, and then another pullback and a higher low, right? So all the bulls start going, hey, we're going north again, right? Anticipating to come back to this trend line. So, there's a strong possibility that we're going to just trade in this range here, and that we might, continue to push north like this over, throughout today, and then, close somewhere around 441, maybe 442. That would be the bullish scenario. Now, the other thing that this could be on the bearish scenario, right? Let me finish the bullish scenario. You would want to look for a break north a little higher than what it is now, and then mark this as support, right, where it was resistance. If it breaks north and then it holds as support, it's going to break north again, and then it's going to come down a higher low, higher high. That's how you can identify that bullish scenario. Bearish scenario would be we had a fall, it trapped a bunch more people here in calls, it's going to do a quick stop loss for the puts, and then you see a big drop. For me to be super bearish, I would need to see it break this trend line and act as resistance. So I would want to see a breakdown, act as support here, a pump back up, and then ride that sucker back down, right? That would be the scenarios that I would play on the SPY today. Now, our indicators, as you see, are calling bullish gap fill. That played out good. Let's see, the harmonic actually called this long that it's playing right now, so that played out well. And the zone tracker is looking good. So we are getting a little rejection off the Bollinger on the pre-market. Keep in mind, whenever pre-markets push north like this, a lot of times there's a pullback on the actual open, so I would not recommend trading the open right away. So just be safe on that. Tech stocks. I'm not going to go dive into stocks too much, guys. Like yesterday, I'll just kind of touch on them. But Apple had its, craziness. It came down and found some support, like everything else, pumped up. My anticipation is I would probably say that it would create a lower high and continue down, like I think the rest of the stuff will eventually. But it's hard to say because if you look at Apple's had some ridiculous strength, right? All the bulls need is something showing them that there might be another attempt up, right? You kind of have a little head and shoulder kind of going on, right? So there could be a chance that if it breaks this neckline, that it does try to come up here for the all-time high again before crashing back down. Now, if you go to a higher time frame, I would be really careful on Apple because it's starting to look very double top-ish, right? So if we do come up here and it does reject around 194 or lower, then it's going to come back down here, which would test not only the neckline but the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. And if we break that, that double top is going to make Apple pull back quite a bit, actually. So that's kind of the range I would watch on Apple. Microsoft, it's kind of in a similar situation. I mean, the only thing about Microsoft is if you take a line like this, I can just see, you kind of have a little bit of a rising wedge going on. Yeah, you got some bearish divergence with it too. So I'm not as bullish, I don't think, on the Microsoft situation as I would be on potentially the Apple one. And Apple's been given such crazy strength. You can see Amazon's getting a pretty crazy push. So they must have had something pull out. I don't follow Amazon as much. So, but yeah, Amazon, had a nice push. It looks like also, if you think from the TA here, right, it kind of had its double bottom, couldn't break out, came back down, created a higher low, and then broke that neckline, right, which is going to cause that burst. If you take Amazon, if I'm trading Amazon, I would take a line like that. And if I get a rejection up here, I'm going to take that put and ride that sucker back down. So, but if you get a break and hold that support, I would ride that sucker right back up. So that's how I would play Amazon. Like I said, I'm not going to dive into all of them. I'm just kind of going through the ones I know most people ask for. So like I'll take a look at Tesla too. So you can see Tesla, like we talked about, had its craziness, it had its pullback. I didn't anticipate that it was going to hold it, but if you look at Tesla now, we have a double touch here, right, which is causing us to break this 200 EMA on the 5 minute, and so that's causing us to get some really good volume here. We are extremely overbought, though, like way overbought. So it wouldn't surprise me if we had a little bit more of a push up around 281. If it rejects off of that, I would happily take that put and ride that back down. So I'm just looking at it. It looks like there's if you miss this call, right, it's too late. You're already too late. So you can almost take something small like a 2-point like this and see if it holds above this. If it holds above this, we have upside. We're going to 281 or so. If it can't hold above this, then that's a great put. Ride that sucker back down. So let's jump into BTC. All right, so I'm on the daily, as you guys see here. We had our high here, like we talked about. We could not make this high. Now, the one thing I'll point out, I pointed this out yesterday, is on the daily, that's why I left it on here, is 29.8 or so is this 21 SMA. And you can see we tried to hit this peak at 31.5 again. We broke the high, instantly rejected all the way back to the 21 SMA. We tried to break the 21 SMA actually, but then it bounced off of it. So it's actually holding that SMA. For me to be bullish, if you want to take a bearish, I would really like to see it flip that, which would be 29.9 or so, 29.8. We would need to see a flip of some strength, and then maybe for it to act as resistance. Now, keep in mind, we did flip red on our divergence, which typically plays out pretty bearish. So let's take a look at the hourly. So the hourly actually had some bullish divergence here that's popping up, so that might be enough to give us a little bit of a push north. But if you look on the hourly, we are below that 200. So if you remember yesterday, I talked about we want to stay below the 200 if you're bearish, above it if we're bullish. We are below it. The key indicator to tell if this is going to have strength or not is this SMA though. So if you notice, this is why we're getting a crazy volume here. It rejected off of the SMA there, rejected there, came up, rejected there, came up, rejected again, and this is the first break. That's why we're getting some volume in that. So if we do get a break above here, it still has a pretty tough battle around 30,460 or so. That's where you're really going to want to watch, because if it rejects off of that, then you might just have somewhat of a bear flag, like an early call bear flag or rising wedge kind of forming. So a lot of times when we teach in the room, we'll talk about don't be afraid to call something early, right? Because that's how you learn. So you could take something like that. This wick I don't like. You can maybe take this one here. I mean, that like I said, this this is not a bear flag. This is not even really a rising wedge. But we may not be done, right? So we could be something like this is what I was talking about early patterns, right? We could be something like this, right? So we could come up and hit 30,500 or so and then reject, and that would be that early bear flag, right, which would break. So when we teach, I don't be shy to try to call something early, because it's how you learn, right? And it's so amazing when you're able to see something super early, and it plays out that way, which is just so awesome. So as far as Bitcoin, it's Friday, guys. We don't trade a ton on Friday anyways, but I would say if we break 29.8 and hold as resistance, we're going to see some crazy downside. If we flip this at 30,469, we're going to see a pretty nice explosion up. So but currently right now, again, it has to hold this 21 SMA, and so if it fails to hold this 21 SMA, which it looks like it's doing right now, then that's gonna fall pretty good. ETH looks like it had look at that, dropping as we speak, right? So this right here, remember we just talked about stop hunts, right? This to me looks like they're trying to get that those stop losses, right? Because it's just falling like crazy right now afterwards. So which doesn't surprise me on it. I'm looking at ETH. Let me mute the harmonic one just to get the TPs off there. Let's just go to the 1 hour. I'm just going to do a little range on the 1 hour. So we are near some crazy support on ETH. You can see right here, which is 1824 or so. It's been holding as really good support, not 1, 2, 3, about 3 times. And then back here, right, it doesn't surprise me because it was really good resistance. So what was once good resistance typically acts as good support. So that's the range to break, 1826. If we break below that, we're pretty much it's gonna be a pretty nasty drop all the way down to probably here, maybe 1771 or so, where it'll be previous support, previous resistance. That's the next level. If we can hold this, and they want to close this today out bearish, right, with all this support that we are bullish, my bullish scenario for ETH would be maybe 1903 retest, and then a rejection, if you're playing that range. So hope that helps you guys out. I'm going to jump into the ATA. So we are going to activate this for the market open. I'm just going to walk through the settings and kind of how that looks. And so if you look at here, I do have it set as range filter. I'm going to do this purposely today, because I do want it to be a little bit of aggressive today, just to kind of get in and get out of these trades, right, for Friday. So I am going to set the trading range a little tighter, so I'm going to set it at 2 o'clock. What that means is it will not take any trades after 2 o'clock. And then I'm going to set close trade on zone, which is going to be at 3:45. So What that means is any trade that is open by 3:45, we're going to come down here and we're going to click stop at end of day. That means it'll close it at 3:45. So that way, because we don't want to have anything carry over the weekend. Either we're right or we're wrong today. I'm going to do 3-day contracts because I don't want to do a 0-day. So that will push that into Monday for the contracts, but we're still not going to let it go past today anyways. So that's the settings I'm going to do. Strike price, I'm going to probably do a 0.2. Take profit, I'm going to do the same. DCAs, we're going to leave the same. And we do have a stop loss enabled at 0.6. So we will let this roll. I'm going to do that. So we do have to stop our candle. So keep in mind, guys, when you do get this indicator to do it on your own, when you stop a candle and you're outside of market hours, you might as well just set it for the market open, right? Because it can't stop it out until market open anyway. So I'll just put 9:30, close trade on chart. Now keep in mind this is going to be a little different than Big A because you're not going to see that yellow triangle until 9:30, right? So man, look at that. Look, like remember we were just talking about the stop hunt. Look how they did that. That's so crazy. Sorry, I had to kick back to this. Look at that. Stop hunt. Boom. Drop it. It's classic. Which actually is this short's going to be in profit that it would have been in from yesterday, so that's good. But yeah, so let's do that. So we got that set up. That's going to be our calls. I'm going to take both calls inputs. We're going to play the range today. I'm going to call it ATA copy trade. I'll just put call. I'm not putting SPY because we're only running the one SPY anyways. But I can set the alert now because it won't trigger till market opens anyways. So we're going to do the same thing, 2 o'clock, range filter, 1 DCA. We're going to set the stop loss. The thing on options, y'all remember on Big A, we did not really set stop losses because we hedged. But we didn't set stop losses because it didn't really matter how long you were in that trade. With options, you can't do that. You gotta just either it's right or it's wrong, get out and reset, right? The goal is gonna be, you're gonna take various stop losses, but the goal is, to have basically more wins, more trades to accommodate for that loss, right? And then at the end of the day be net green. Now, doing a 0.6 loss, although any loss is gonna hurt, right? It's not gonna hurt nearly as much. So I don't think I set the other one. Yeah. So let's double check. Put SPY range filter. We got that. Close that. Oh, we want stop at end of day. Okay. Cool. So we are good. See, because I changed the code, right? It's gonna act as if it stopped this short out, which is fine because that's what I need it to do anyways. ATA copy. I'll just put copy. Put. That's good enough. So we got it locked and loaded, guys. I'm gonna end the call a little bit early though. Like I said, not feeling too well. I might open the room here for a little bit in the morning, and then after that, I might be just done for the day. Go get me some Advil cold signers or something. But I appreciate you guys' patience with this, and we'll let it rip today. So we'll see you guys in the room soon.